Hey, y'all, this is Church from Church's Intake. I'm going to read another word. I'm getting to the book again, book of Enoch 1. We're going to go from chapter 14 through 20. And we're going to talk about, what I left off before the holiday, before y'all Christmas or whoever's Christmas, because it ain't my God's Christmas day. But I'm not going to get involved in, calling things out for what they may be or what they truly are, you know what I'm saying? We are to worship, and it's obviously Christmas for some or most people. It's actually, to give gifts and bring happy tidings to one another, which God definitely loves that part of it, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's really not his birthday or anything like that. But, I'm glad you guys had a nice New Year's or whatever. And we're going to get into Enoch chapter 14, and it talks about where I had left off. They had made the petition to God using Enoch, a human being, and this is basically what God's going to tell Enoch to say, because Enoch actually goes to heaven, and he sees everything. God shows him a lot of different things, and I want to talk about, obviously the petition. A little bit of kind of like where God resides at in heaven, you actually got to go through, in chapter 14 it talks about the petition, and it tells like what you got to go through. Like he said, we went through like two houses up in heaven, and one of the house was obviously where the cherubims was residing at, to get to where the house of God is, where he sits on the throne. And to know where he sits on the throne, I mean, like he says, it's marvelous and all of that stuff. But I mean, wait till I describe how he describes that, and then he goes back to the Watchers and tell them what they did, and stuff like that, and then who our Watchers are and what their position is on this earth. Michael, Uriel, and them like that. So let me stop talking, and then we'll discuss after. The scroll of the words of righteousness, and the reprimand of the perpetual watchers, in accordance with the commands of the Holy Great One, in that vision I saw in my sleep, and what I will now say with a tongue of the flesh and with the breath of my mouth, which the Holy One was given to me, and converse with the understand and with the heart, as he has created and given to men the power of understanding and the words of wisdom. So he has also created me and gave me the power of reprimanding the watchers and the children of heaven. All right, so just in that little portion before I keep on reading, Enoch was saying that God gave us the power of understanding and the words of wisdom. So a lot of us are supposed to be way more wise out here, and we have the power of understanding. Yes, God gave us this gift. This is a gift from God. So I'm gonna keep on going. That's why you're supposed to be have the ear and the voice, of understanding and wisdom, because God gave us that. That's kind of what the angels be wanting from us, that we have these things that they truly don't have, but they have other things that we don't have. All right, so I wrote out the Watchers, the children of heaven. I wrote out your petition, and in my vision it appeared like this, that your petition will not be granted to you throughout all the days of the age, and that judgment has been finally passed on you. Yes, your petition will not be granted to you. And from now on, you will not ascend into heaven for all ages, in bonds of the earth and decree has gone out and to bind you for all the days of the world. They was able to ascend back to heaven, even though they was kicked out of heaven. That's where you get that from. And you will have seen and destruction. You will have seen the destruction of your beloved sons beforehand, and you will have no pleasure in them, and they will fall before the sword, and your petition on their behalf will not be granted, nor yet your own, even though you weep and pray and speak all the words containing in the writing which you have written. And the vision was shown to me like this: behold, in the vision clouds invited me in the midst and summoned me, and the course of the stars and the lightning sped toward me, and the winds in the vision caused me to fly and lifted me upward and bore me into heaven. So he was saying, like, you know what I mean, that petition that they had put out, the fallen ones, you know what I mean, the watchers, the original watchers that got cast down to earth, they petition was for naught. They couldn't go back up to heaven. You know what I mean, they couldn't even ascend back up to heaven. They wasn't allowed to go back up. And basically they was cast down, and they was stuck here on earth, and they was going to be bound on earth to the end of the world. So, and let's go and we're going to talk about the vision. And behold, a vision, and behind there was a second house. Okay, this is where we're talking about. I'm going into the vision other than, you know, Enoch saying when he went into the dream state, because that's what basically God gets you in your dream state. Sometimes things come to your mind, you know what I mean? And he relays these messages to you. So you got to understand how you get premonitions and stuff from God. It's through dreams. It's through just sometimes God just dropping a new thing in your head. And then it's like, how did I know that? And it's just like glorious because God gave it to you. So basically in his vision, I mean, I skipped through a little bit, but he went up to heaven, and then he went past the first cherubims, right? And it was like crystal, fiery, you know what I mean? Crystals all over the place, you know what I mean? It's a lot of fire up in heaven too. A lot of people don't realize that, but there's a lot of fire. But this portion talks about how he was going into like the throne of God. And I'm going to read this bit that tells you that he was at the throne of God, and you got to see where God resides at. It's beautiful. I have to imagine, because he says it's magnificence, you know what I mean, and all of that. But it's surrounded by fire all over the place. Watch. And I beheld a vision, and behold, there was a second house, because the first house, you know, he's seen all the fire and stuff, but he's seen a whole bunch of crystals. It was like crystals all over the place, but we're not going on the walls, on the ground, and all of that. And it was like water, he was saying, and it was like hot and cold, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. But we're going to go where the Lord resides in the second house, greater than the former, and the entrance portal stood open before me, and it was built of flames of fire, and every respect of it excelled in splendor and magnificence and extent that I could not describe to you its splendor and its extent. And its floor was of fire, and above it were lightning and the path of the stars, and its ceiling was also flaming fire. And I looked and saw a lofty throne therein. Its appearance was as crystal, and the wheels thereof as the shining sun. And there was the vision of cherubim, and from underneath the throne came streams of flaming fire, so that I could not look thereon. And the great holy and the great glory sat thereon, and his remnant shone more brightness than the sun, and was whiter than any snow. None of the messengers could enter and behold his face by reason of the magnificent and glory, and no flesh could behold him. The flaming fire was around him, and a great fire stood before him, and none around could draw near him. Myriads of myriads stood before him, yet he needed no counselor, and the Most High, and the Most Holy One were near to him, did not leave by night nor depart from him. The Lord called me with his own mouth and said to me, "Come here, Enoch, and hear my word." So we're going to get into it after that. But did you just get that grasp of the Lord out here is around fire? Like the bowl is like sun. It's like suns ablazing all around him. The chief commander, Alba. It's like blazing suns of fire and all of that. Like, you know what I mean? But it's crazy because I would think it would be, I don't know. I thought it would be like clouds and stuff. Like nah, fire all over the place, on the top of the ceiling, on the floor, and then there's fire all around him. And then he's sitting on like a throne of crystals, and then there's fire there. It's like fire. Shut up in my bones, you know what I mean? Jeremiah type. And let's get on. And then he answered Enoch with, for the watchers. And then he has his reply for that. And he answered and said to me, and I heard his voice. "Do not fear, Enoch, you righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Approach here and hear my voice, and go say to the watchers of the heavens who have sent you to intercede for them. You should intercede for men." This is God. He wants Enoch to reply this to the watchers, to the fallen angels. "You intercede for men and not men for you. Why have you left your high, holy, and perpetual heaven and lain with women and defile yourselves with the daughters of men and take wives to yourselves and done like the children of earth and begotten giants as your sons? And though you were holy and spiritual, living the continuous life, and you have defiled yourselves with the blood of women and have begotten children with the blood of flesh, and as the children of men have lusted after flesh and blood, as those who die and perish also do. Therefore I also give them wives, that they might impregnate them and beget sons by them, that nothing might be wanting to them on earth." That's for the children. That's why he made men. And that's why we were able to pregnate women, because so we would have nothing want. "But you were formerly spiritual, living the continuous life and immoral for all generations of the world. And therefore I have not appointed wives for you. For as the spiritual ones of the heavens, their dwelling is in heaven." Angels dwelling places in heaven. Y'all supposed to be forever. It ain't supposed to be like us human beings. All right? Their dwelling places in heaven. And now the giants who are produced from the spirits and flesh will be called evil spirits on the earth. Giants will be called evil spirits on the earth, and their dwelling will be on the earth. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men, and their beginning and primal origin is from the holy watchers. They will be evil spirits on earth, and they will be called evil spirits. As for the spirits of heaven, our dwelling will be in heaven. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born on the earth, their dwelling will be on earth. Listen up. And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, or do battle, and the work of destruction on the earth, and cause trouble. They took no food, but nevertheless hunger and thirst, and cause offenses. And these spirits will rise up against the children of men and against the women, because they have proceeded from them. That's it. So you already know. So God was stating to him, the angels, like, listen. And we also know that the whole meaning of why he made angels and why he made human beings. They are supposed to be here forever, just like humans can only live up to like 25 years after the flood, you know what I'm saying? For the most part. But we wasn't here for eternal life. They're actually supposed to be here for everyone's life, to watch over us for generations to generations to generations. You know what I'm saying? And they disobeyed their commands, because then they made these giants. And these giants had to get wiped out because all they was doing was going to cause destruction. But their spirits, you got to listen, their spirits will be here forever. And that's what the giant spirits are still here, causing chaos. You got to understand that these giant spirits that came from the watchers, and we taught all these enchantments, charms, and stuff, those are the spirits from the giant children that's left. Their spirits is left on the earth. They still cause destruction and stuff. You got to read between them lines. But listen, and you read it, it says it. Watch. From the days of the slaughter and destruction and death of the giants, from the souls of those flesh, the spirits have gone out, will destroy without ensuring judgment. They will therefore destroy until the day of consummation. The great judgment in which the age will be consummated over the watchers and the godless. Yes, it will be wildly consummated. And now, as the watchers who had sent you to intercede for them who had previously been in heaven, say to them, you have been in heaven, but all the mysteries had not yet been revealed to you, and you have known worthless ones, and you have made these known to the women in the hardness of their hearts, and through these mysteries women and men work much evil on the earth. Therefore say to them, you have no peace. Those angels don't have no peace. Those fallen ones, there's 200 of them. They don't have no peace. Actually, most of them are going to be seeing darkness until Judgment Day. And basically, he was stating this is chapter 15, before 16. He was stating in chapter 15 that after the giants were slain, their spirits was going to be causing all of these havocs and destructions. And they knew certain things, like I said, enchantment, charms, and stuff. Just like how we have witches, warlocks, and all of that stuff. It comes from the giant spirits. They're teaching people these things because their spirits is left on the earth. Yeah, just like that. All right, so, and then, he went to heaven, and then, I try to skip past it, like, he talking about different parts of heaven. Because, some of those things, actually, I did remember, and I wrote down one, like, I highlighted one part that I want to explain, which is funny. But you got to understand, like, everything is under God's word, his law. Because it talks about the stars, you know what I'm saying, and how they were made. And actually stars get punished. Yeah, the stars in heaven gets punished. And behold, that abyss I saw a place where which had no expanse of the heavens above, and no form found earth beneath it. There was no water on it, and no birds, but it was the waste and horrible place. And I saw 7 stars there, like great burning mountains. And to me, when I inquired regarding them, the messenger said, this place is the end of heavens and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commands of the Lord in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come out at their appointed times. And he was angry with them and bound them until the time when their guilt should be consummated for 10,000 years. So stars are even feeling guilty. Dog, stars. They go to prison too. Stars. Yeah. Them things that you see in the sky, dog. It's funny, but it's real. Like, God don't be playing no games. Like, he was tight with them, so he put them in their own type of prison. Like, the way God made things, everybody's got different prisons, you know what I mean, for different things, you know what I mean? And I'm going to expand on that. Like, there's more stuff in the book of Enoch, because, you know, it's just wild that, you know, even the stars be acting up, you know what I'm saying, which is crazy. And Uriel said to me, the messengers who have connected themselves with women will stand here, and their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind, and will lead them astray unto sacrificing to demons as gods. You want me to read that again? And Uriel said, the messengers who have connected themselves with women will stand here, and their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind, and will lead them astray until sacrificing to demons as God. They will stand here until the great day of judgment, in which they will be judged until they have made an end of. And also the women of the messengers who went astray will become sirens. So yes, those spirits from them giants, that's why people be talking about all of these gods and goddesses and stuff. They were giants, dog. You have to know that. Like Hercules and all these goofy names that they be coming up with, they're the spirits. You know what I'm saying? Like, those people were probably grand type people, but because they're worshiping these demons, you know what I'm saying? They're demons now. These watchers, these 200 watchers, fallen ones, that was on the earth, you know what I mean? Causing havoc. Now the mankind believe that these are gods. These are the generations after that generation, because their spirits are still here and they're still causing havoc, acting like they are gods, unless you have the Holy Spirit and know that you have the power to cast these demons down. But a lot of people don't realize that, yes, a lot of these other people that worship these deities and all of these type of things, they worship in the fallen angels. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it truly is. And then I'm going to lead at the end of chapter 20. And it basically tells you with, the 4 messengers of God, the holy ones that, what made our petition to God about the angels causing havoc on the earth. And this is why, what is going on, Michael and them. And these are the names of the holy messengers who watch. So these are the ones that still watch us now. Uriel, one of the holy messengers who is over the world and over Taurus. Raphael, one of the holy messengers who is over the spirits of men. Raguel, one of the holy messengers who takes vengeance on the world of the luminaires of the light. The vengeance of the world of the light. That's what luminaires mean. Michael, one of the holy angels, namely he that is set over the best part of mankind and over chaos. Michael's over top of us. The best part of mankind will be the chosen ones, the prophets and, stuff like that, the good people. And he's in charge of over the chaos. Them ones that's causing that craziness, the ones that's doing rituals. And yeah, he goes in on them for our behalf. And Seraquil, one of the holy messengers who is set over the spirits who sin in the spirit. Gabriel, one of the holy messengers who is over paradise and the serpents and the cherubim. So Gabriel's over a couple different people, just like Uriel's over a couple different things. And, Michael's like over top of the chosen ones. He guides the chosen ones, and he handles that chaos from these demonoids that's on the earth. Your friends and family folk and kinfolk. And Remuel, one of the holy messengers whom God set over those who rise. So that's right there, I'll get into another reading after I get into this book. Actually, I got into it a little bit more, but yeah, man, like, there's different things that you have to understand. Like, everything has an order to it. And a lot of people don't get that. Like, even though to rise with God, like to be his anointed one, his chosen ones, right? You want to be chosen, or you were chosen by God, right? You still have to go through your process. Like, no one escapes the process. You have to go through it because it was appointed, it was destined, and God always does his things in order. It might not be in the order that you like, but he does it in his own order. And then guess what? When people don't do what God wants them to do, even the stars, man, people get imprisoned, people get setbacks, people get let down. But you have to also know that a lot of these spirits that's on the earth are from the former giants and from the fallen angels and stuff like that. And people obviously worship a lot of these deities and stuff like that in these spirit forms, because all these enchantments and stuff came from the fallen angels and their kids, their lineage. And, because God said it, mankind is going to be believing that these are gods, and they're not. They're punks. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? But that's how it all made. It was all type made. And then you can go back to Genesis, obviously the forbidden fruit was eaten in Genesis, but it didn't get crazy until, like, if you read this, what was happening in Enoch, now Genesis with the Nephilim part, it makes sense. The sons of man, the sons of man, the women of man, and the sons of God, and it makes more sense. It puts a structure to like what had transpired and why did God do what he did. And then it was like mankind was getting beasted on by these giants, and they was eating us and stuff like that. And these wicked, angels, fallen angels, was causing craziness and having mankind go up against each other. Like, because these angels went into the women, it hardened their hearts towards men. Before that, I'm assuming there was no hardened hearts towards a man, because the man was the top dog. until these fallen angels came down here. Now they're not the top dog. Now there's deities and such stuff like that that makes them believe that, nah, y'all ain't nothing. Or there's giants, like y'all ain't nothing. Like my kid to do that. And you gotta understand that these giants, you know what I mean, some of them had to look good, you know what I mean? Some of these women wanted these big beastie giants on them, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And then you know, they wasn't even allowed to, they wanted to stay for 500 years. And God was like, ixnay, all of that. Like, y'all ain't even supposed to be here. Y'all can't do nothing good. Like, y'all dummies. Like, I ain't even make y'all. Like, y'all was made out of blasphemy. You know what I'm saying? Which was true. And, but their spirits reside on this earth until the great day of judgment. And that's why they're still going to cause havoc and stuff. So you got to understand where these spirit forms is coming from. It's coming from them. Now, there's different ways, you know what I mean? I'm assuming, you know, he's not going to explain that more as I read further into the book, because there's 3 books of Enoch. And then, you know, you just got to understand, man, there's a lot of devious stuff that goes on right now. And what we as people have to study to show thyself approval unto God. And if you know these things, you know what I mean, it's easier for you to start to pinpoint certain situations and things like that. Like, you don't wrestle against flesh and blood. You wrestle against these spirits. And you got to understand and know how to fight in the spirit and fight these spirits. And I'm going to leave that one right there, okay? And I'm going to get into another portion of Enoch. It's actually a great book. It should have never been cut out of the Bible, but it was cut out of the Bible because there's a lot of people in the body of Christ that do witchcraft and divinations, you know what I'm saying? And they don't want to be found out or caught, you know what I'm saying? So Enoch exposes all of that. And then it also puts in the presence or the question of who was the chosen ones. When Enoch's talking like, yo, this is for the chosen ones. Now you'll be like, who are the chosen ones? And these are righteous people, or people, you know, in their purpose, doing what God says to do. And they're not envious type of folk. They're good-hearted and kind-hearted people. And that's what God wants us all to be. And if you're an evil type of person, you don't, and you talking about God and stuff, you don't want that book. That's why the church was the one that casted the book of Enoch out. Not God. The church, because they would have been looked at in a whole different way. Like, yo, you over here talking this evil, diabolical crap, and you saying you God's kid? Like, nah, son, that don't add up. But I'm going to leave that right there, y'all. Like, subscribe, and share. This is Church from Church's Intake. God bless.